House. You are very welcome tonight to come through by Skype. The Skype address is Meeting John David. You can ask a question and connect. And also you're very welcome to visit us as a helper. Especially in these times we can need a bit support. Some of the residents have to go out now to work a bit here because of the current situation, so any help is very welcome. And more information about the Open Sky House on John David Satsang you find on www.johndavidsatsang.international or openskyhouse.international. Thank you.
Welcome to Satsang. Well, it seems to me we definitely need some jokes tonight. A doctor wanted to get off work and go hunting, so he approached his assistant. "I'm going hunting tomorrow. I don't want to close the clinic. I want you to take care of my patients." "Yes, sir," answers the guy. The doctor goes hunting and returns the following day and asks, "So how was your day?" "Well, the first patient had a headache, so I gave him painkillers." "Bravo," said the doctor. "The second one had stomach burning, and I gave him antibiotics," says the assistant. "Bravo, you're good at this. And what about the third one?" asked the doctor. "Well, sir, I was sitting here and suddenly the door opened and a woman entered. Like a flame, she undressed herself, taking everything off, including her bra and panties, and lay down on the table. She then moaned, 'Help me, oh help me, young man. For 5 years I've not seen any man.' Well, sir, I gave her some eye drops." Sorry, I missed the bit about the... Anyway, it doesn't matter. At school, the secretary was conducting an interview with the new students as a nice little getting to know each other exercise. "What's your father's occupation?" she asked to a little boy sitting in the front row. "He's a magician, ma'am," said the new boy. "How interesting. What's his favorite trick?" "He saws people in half." "Gosh, now, next question. Any brothers or sisters?" "One half brother and 2 half sisters." "A woman's vegetable garden is growing well, but the tomatoes always stay green. So she walks to the neighbor and asks, 'Your tomatoes are always red, while mine are always green. How do you do it?' The neighbor says, 'Well, maybe it sounds absurd, but here is what I do. In the evening, you go into the garden and take off all your clothes. When the tomatoes see you, they will blush, and next day they'll be red. You will see.' The next day they meet, and the neighbor asks, 'How did it go?' 'So,' she said. 'The tomatoes are still green, but the cucumbers are 4 inches longer.'" So, probably some of you have heard about the coronavirus. If you go on any television program, if you open any newspaper, probably I don't use all these other media channels, but I think if you go on any channel now, it's 90% about the coronavirus. And so I thought I might say a few words about that tonight. And the first thing I want to say is that because of how the government has responded to that, they've got what they call, I think, social withdrawal or something like that. They want people not to meet so much because they have a situation where basically in Europe the governments are not really ready for such a virus. They don't have the masks, they don't have the whole body costumes for the doctors, and apparently they don't have enough ventilating machines for people who are seriously ill, who need help with breathing. I was reading today that in Switzerland is the biggest company in the world to make ventilators, and they're completely swamped, and they can't really upgrade their output because they're very complicated machines which have all kind of little bits in them that come from all different places. So basically the governments of Europe have taken the strategy of keeping people separated so that the peak infection is going to take longer to come, so it gives the hospitals time to get ready. And the idea is that in the long run, then less people will fall sick with that. So this may be a very good principle, and it has an absolutely drastic effect on Open Sky House, because when we first started our community 15 years ago, we decided we would support ourselves. And to that end, we started a large guest house, a seminar business, and a wellness center. And these three businesses have been supporting us now for 15 years, supporting the whole community. And now suddenly this week, the government has taken away all three businesses. So we've gone from having a good income every week to having no income. So this is a very drastic situation. And now in 10 days, we have to pay the rent, we have to pay the utilities, we have other urgent bills to pay, and basically we have no income. So yesterday there was a meeting, and the whole community was offering to go out to work. So now today people were starting to apply for jobs. And of course this is going to take time to work through before they can get the jobs, and then when they've got the jobs, the pay probably comes a bit later. So we really need some help now in the next 10 days. So if anybody who was listening feels they would like to support this project, which is already successfully running for 15 years, we would really like to get some donations. We've already been offered some loans, but right now that doesn't seem to be really the answer for us, because we don't know the future at all. Nobody can know the future. So right now, in the next 10 days, we need to come together and find about 10,000 euros. So if anybody can come up with even 100 euros, that's all going to help us. So this is an appeal out through the internet, and we'll be making more projects to appeal out through the emails, through the, what do they call these sites where you can ask for donations. So this is a really tough situation for us, and yeah, if anybody can help or anybody knows somebody who might help, then this is really an urgent situation for us. And also I would say that because now the guest house is completely empty, we have 20 guest rooms, very nicely appointed guest rooms, and now the whole of Germany is somehow working from home or not working at all. So maybe some of you might consider to come here and have a kind of personal retreat. It's a very silent place. We can provide you with very nice vegetarian food. We'll be having our meetings and meditations. You can join these meetings and meditations. And just having you here, if you'd like to also do some volunteering, would really again support the community. So this is also an appeal not just for money, but also an appeal for support, people's support. So I was thinking I might say a few things about the coronavirus, but the more I read or listen, I see that this is a very complicated situation. So what I would say is that something that tends not to be in the news, or what tends to be in the news, is the number of people who are getting sick and the number of people who are dying. And of course, one thing to say about the number that are dying is that it's only about 1%. So even if we get sick, we're not necessarily going to die. So there are other diseases like the Ebola virus, which is killing half of the people who get sick. So this particular virus is worse than the common flu, the normal kind of flu, by about 5 or 10%, 5 or 10 times, so it's more serious. But still, the number of people who are going to die from this particular epidemic is something like 5 times less than the people dying in car accidents. It's about the same as the number of people who die from falling into their swimming pools. So I think it's very important that we keep some sort of reference to this situation, because if you get involved in reading newspapers and watching news, I mean, it's blanket coverage. They're only really talking about this. And there's no reference comparing it with other things. And of course, in this time of the year, when it's cold and it's already been several months of winter, there are many older people who have an underlying bad health because of their old age, because of their poor health quality, who would probably die anyway from similar kinds of viruses. And there's no comparison also with that. Everybody who's dying is suddenly dying from the coronavirus, which may be true, but is very likely not true, because the reality, I was watching a program in England tonight, they don't even have enough tests. They're hardly testing anybody. For example, the situation in England, I can't speak for Germany, is that, for example, if a doctor who's treating a patient, if that patient would be found to have the virus, the doctor maybe wasn't protected, and therefore the doctor has to go home for 2 weeks, which when you think about it is completely crazy, because it means the medical workers are the ones who are most likely to get infected, and if they don't have masks and they don't have proper equipment, they're likely to get infected, or they don't know if they've got infected because they don't even have tests at the moment. And this is partly true also from what I understand in Germany. I have one student who's a doctor working in a hospital locally to here, and they don't have any masks. Can you imagine? They're working as the doctors, they don't have masks. They probably also, I didn't ask him, but they probably also don't have the body suits, and they have one ventilator. So these ventilating machines are for the very, very sick patients. So when you get particularly sick, then you need support to breathe. And for that, they've got a machine called a ventilator, which helps to breathe you. So one machine in a whole hospital, you can imagine that that's not really going to do the job. And these ventilators, as I was saying just before, they're not things that you can just suddenly produce, because they are complicated machines, and they can't be, they can't make many more quickly. So this is a really difficult situation. And of course, the governments in Europe are dealing with that lack of being ready. They don't have tests, they don't have masks, they don't have bodysuits, they don't have ventilators. And for example, in England, yesterday I think it was, they were appealing to all the health workers who've retired in the last years to come back and work again. So that just shows also that they're really not prepared. Yeah? They're asking for retired doctors and nurses to come back and help out. So basically, the reason why we now find ourselves with an empty guest house is that the medical facilities in the whole of Europe are not really ready for such an epidemic. And even though China has been telling us since January, so January, February, halfway through March, we've had 2.5 months to prepare, it seems that the preparation hasn't really happened. It's only now that it's really happening. So anyway, so I can understand why this social closing schools, asking people to work at home, not allowing people to get together in health clubs or bars or restaurants. I can understand why that's very important at the moment. But in England today, they were even talking that this might go on for a whole year. So at the moment, we're planning in our community for 3 months, but they were talking that it could go on for a whole year. So a whole year with all the children at home, the whole year with no income, it makes you really wonder how civilization or society is going to go on, actually. You know, in America, they're talking about sending $1,000 to everybody in the country, and then somebody else was saying, why not send $2,000 to everybody? So we can hope that the German government will also be sending us 1,000 euros. That would help us personally a lot, but that's going to take probably weeks, if not months, to organize. Yeah. So it's a very tough situation for Open Sky House, actually. So anyway, I'm not really qualified to talk about the health situation, but there is one part where I think I'm qualified, and that is that it's very easy that with this whole virus story, we come into fear. And this fear can be maybe at least as bad as the virus. And this is unfortunately human nature, that we're going along okay, and then we get some bad news, or we think there may be bad news, or we irrationally think that something terrible might happen next week, and we come into a space inside us of fear. And so I would make the suggestion that the way out of this fear is to come back to yourself. Spend time to sit quietly, spend time to meditate if you know how to meditate. But even sitting quietly with your eyes closed, just being with yourself, is already going to bring you back to yourself, to the self. Yeah. So this is a very important time for reflection, staying quiet, staying with yourself. And that's why I was also making this offer that people who are not out at work at the moment could consider coming here for a week or two, taking one of our guest rooms, and in a way having their own retreat here, and being quiet, coming back to themselves. And so this I think is a very important message that we should put out, which is care of fear. Because as I was saying just now, the number of people who are likely to die in the next year from this virus is roughly the same number who fall into their swimming pools. So then we should fill in all the swimming pools. And it's about 3 times more people dying from car accidents. So should we stop driving? Should the government decide everybody should stay home, nobody drives anymore? So, I mean, we have to keep this into some sort of sensible understanding, I would say. And of course, fear doesn't do that. Fear forgets about the comparison. If you're looking now on Facebook, you'll find underneath my talk tonight, you will find a video where there are comparisons. And it shows that this particular virus is a very small killer compared to many, many other things, which are much, much bigger killers. So this weekend I should fly to Ukraine, but due to this situation, the border with Ukraine is closed, so I couldn't fly there. So I had to cancel my weekend there. I'm going to do it through Skype tomorrow and on Sunday. So in a minute, I think we'll go to Ukraine through Skype, if they'd like to come in a minute. But we have somebody called Bo on Skype. Was he the guy that came last week?
No, it's a woman, I think.
Woman, okay. Okay, let her come. Hello?
So in a minute, I think we'll go.
Hello, here, Bo.
Hello, Bo. We don't see you at the moment.
Oh,
Do you have a camera?
I just want to be without a face because the internet is some scary sometimes.
Okay.
So I just try the first one, and
Okay.
yeah, I hope
Did
it works.
you hear what I was just talking about?
Yes, absolutely.
I was talking about
absolutely.
scariness, don't be scared.
If you can hear me, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you very well, but do you hear what I'm
Okay,
saying?
but I have to say something.
Okay, go ahead.
First, I would say thank you for all the work that you have done in the past and now, and to the team. I enjoy it very much, and I hear your talks very intensively. Yes,
Okay, you're going to come and stay with
yes,
us?
yes,
Okay.
yes, I can hear you. Okay. Um,
So have you been watching these meetings before?
yes, I were watching these meetings very intensively.
Okay, good, good. And are you normally working and now you've been asked to work at home?
I don't get it. Can you please repeat it again?
I'm asking you if normally you're working and now your company has asked you to stay home. It's a home worker.
Oh no, I'm on my own. I'm on my own, and I'm working in the same business as you are.
Okay.
And yes, we encounter also problem. But first, maybe can I ask you a question?
Okay.
It is said that the creator is called Brahma, the sustainer is Vishnu, and the destroyer is Shiva.
Right.
And it means it is all one energy. And
Yeah.
if we see now, as you have also mentioned it, the coronavirus,
Yes.
if we see now that many things get topsy-turvy, is
Many
it
things get what?
possible that this energy from Shiva is now coming to us, to wake us, to shake us, to say something to us indirectly, so that we have to change our behavior and our life and look more inside instead of going for the globalism or the consume things or buying things or having more parties or something like that, because this disease, as I see it and I feel it, maybe wants to say something to us, maybe it wants to show us something, and that's why I'm asking. It is said there is Brahma, there is Vishnu, and there's Shiva. But all these three, this trinity, is one energy. And that we are now slipping, shifting in a Shiva time. What you would comment about this?
Well, I think what you're saying is true. I mean, the society in many respects has lost some kind of basic human foundation, you could say, something like human foundation or some humanness. For example, in my case, I go every year to India for 1 or 2 months. I just came back actually from 2 months in India. And there's something about this country, India, just with the ordinary people, that always reminds me of something which I feel when I'm in Europe, I'm not really reminded of very much anymore. And it's hard to find the right word for that. But I can remember, now I'm rather old, and when I was rather young, I was told that computers would free us from so much work, that we would be, sunning ourselves on the beach, or swimming, or going for a sail, or playing sports, and the computers would keep all the factories running nicely, and so on. But of course, 50 years later, the opposite has happened. Now we're all sitting in front of a computer screen, and we all work much more probably than we did 50 years ago. And the whole world is sitting in front of computer screens. And this is maybe not the most healthy lifestyle for human beings. And so in this way, this virus may decimate what has been created through all these computers, all this modern economy, all this more, I want more stuff, going shopping, advertising, all this, what you can call modern stuff, is maybe going to find itself now really looked at. And we may, in fact, come back inside us as human beings, which is what I was suggesting before. And by coming back inside, we will discover new priorities in our life. And maybe many people will discover those priorities.
Yes, I also see it that way. I want to say something about my background. I was also, like you, in the community. I was with Osho, and I was all the sannyas game, and I have experienced all this meditation stuff, and as you know, all this coming together and so on. But I've experienced something that there is undercurrent always, all the time, an energy that is pulling us, that is drawing us, and we all have that energy within us, and deep down we have in our DNA certain gesture. I have experienced this as a bow down. It's called surrender. And if you're near a person who's vibrating that energy, that fine, subtle energy, we can feel that bow down energy. So something within us wants to surrender, not surrender to a person, not surrender to whatever, just surrender to life itself. And that's what I have experienced. And I was completely unaware that this energy is residing within everybody. I've made my own investigation over many years. Wow. I'm a long time on that game, and I found out most people in the name of spirituality want to play spirituality, want to play a game, want to go with their will to become a better person, a lovable person, a meditative person, and all their will, as I've experienced it, is totally, completely, utterly in the way to come in contact with this deeper energy. If we come in contact with this deeper energy, then we feel first a shaking of the body or trembling, and it differs from person to person. And then we get feared from that energy. But if we
the audience is laughing at your passion.
Wait a minute. And that energy, I feel, is completely forgotten.
Yeah, there's an English spiritual teacher that I like very much, and he calls it the open secret, that what you've just described is very close, and it's not something that we get from somebody or we get from some outside, some special technique. Actually, it's inside us, and it's inside everybody. And if everybody would start to direct themselves inside instead of always outside, the world would shift. And there is some potential that if this virus is going to go on for many months, it may force many people actually to go inside. So, I mean, we, of course, agree with everything you've been saying, and we like the way you say it with so much passion, and all the people here agree with you completely. We would love to see you now, because we would love to see the face that goes with so much passion.
Ah,
It's only a little button you have to click. One little click and you'll reveal yourself.
John, I heard your speech before we start the conversation, and of course I spent some donation because I feel with you, and I have decided I give you 500 euros, and maybe that helps you a little bit.
That definitely helps us a little bit, and you're the first person to offer a donation, so we won't forget you. So
Yeah.
Are you living anywhere near Cologne, or are you far away?
No. I live more in the near of Stuttgart, and I
Okay.
have. Let me explain a little bit. I was 30 years ago a leader of a center from Osho,
Okay, good.
and then something within me has totally shifted, and there comes an energy, and it was pulling me out of that. So I have given up my name, I've given up the center, I have put a lot of money in the center, and I have given that up, and then I have moved in the completely unknown, because I was starting to trust that energy, and that energy was pulling me over and over through the years. And then I built up 4 houses with certain people. I live with them together. And it was always a blessing. It was always a blessing in disguise. But
Right.
at that moment, I was giving up that center and get out of these red clothes and all this. It was so difficult, because it were all my friends around me, and I have no contact with them anymore, because they were so focused on that guy Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh or Osho later on, and
Yeah,
they couldn't give up
right.
the
Wait,
finger.
wait,
They wanted to
what
bite the finger instead of looking where this finger were pointing. And the
exactly, yeah.
finger, and
I'm,
that's why I'm so passionate. The
yeah,
finger was always pointing to the own energy,
right,
to the own energy
right.
inside. And it was a great adventure that started for me. And I'm now more than 35 years on that journey. And
Right.
it is so fantastic what I've experienced. I was drawn to persons, I was drawn to places, I was drawn to this, and always going in the unknown. So the unknown is the most intimate that what we all can discover in this
Yeah,
life.
right. So then you're clearly somebody who lives with no fear, you know? I was talking about fear tonight because of this virus. So to have your lifestyle, you've got to be without fear, yeah? You've got to be in tune with existence. You've got to be ready to follow the guidance of existence. I'm very happy to hear your story. This is also my own story, but I got some help because after many years with Osho myself, I was drawn to go and visit another Indian master. You probably heard of Punjaji or Papaji. And he became my master, and he helped me to, in a way, come out of some of the conditionings I'd got with Osho or with the community around Osho. And for a lot of people, as you say, they've got lost in looking at the finger, not where the finger is pointing. And maybe it's not so easy to keep moving, keep moving where the finger is pointing.
Osho, in my eyes, was an absolute enlightened guy, but also a very tricky guy. because he was always creating situation to provoke his people, to provoke that energy, and he was a situation designer. So that meant we from the outside, look what he's saying, what he said, where he's going, what he's doing, this, that. So we commented this, but we never recognized that he was all the time provoking us to come to our own feelings, to come to our own energies. And he was a fake guy. He was a situation designer, and everything what he has done for all the people on the whole world. But most didn't understood his message.
Right. And of course, he's done a great work because that work is still continuing. Many people who never had contact with any meditation or looking inside are still being provoked by Osho's books and so on. So his work is still continuing, and I think it's very valuable. But at a certain point, there needs to be some kind of further step, you can say.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. But what I see is, let me take you mentioned this guy, TP, I call him, Tony Parsons. I call him the nothingness, because there is no Tony Parsons.
Right.
There is only nothingness going through him, and he just allowed what goes through him. So there is no guy who thinks about things and then calls it to us or writes book. No, the nothingness goes through him, and then things comes through them. So he's just a medium. He doesn't think about it, but people judge him in this way and this way and this way and this way. So then you go to the internet and you see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of imitators of this guy, yeah? And then all talking about, oh, I'm on my way to, I'm now the no nothingness, I'm the nothingness, the more nothing of nothing and nothingness. It is such a joke. These are all imitators.
You know, Bo, I think you better come and visit us. So
these people have
I think you better come and visit us and come and
energy within them, but they have a tricky mind, and they go outside to the whole world, and people believe them, and they can play a wonderful voice and say, I'm so wonderful, I'm beyond, I'm the absolutely nothing. Oh, you just have to accept it. You're just bodies. You're just bodies. Look, I'm a body. You are a body. There's no eye. There's no wall. It's just walling. It's just bodying. It's just this. It's just that. Isn't that stupid? Isn't that stupid?
I think you better come and spend a day or two with us, and you can talk to everybody. You know, give us a little talk. You know, we'd like to experience your passion firsthand. Why don't you come and visit us?
John David, I see you, and I see exactly what you are doing. You are smiling all the time. And if you are playing your very honest face, or you scream sometimes, or you play this or that, it's just a game. You do the same thing as Osho. You do the same thing as all these guys that's on the way in that in that issue.
So now we'd like to invite you even more. You know, then we can have a good fight together.
You are nobodiness. You have also nothing in your brain anymore. You follow existence. You are existence. It comes all through you. I can see that. I see your aura. I see all this energy. And if I come to you, maybe I fall at your feet, because this energy is so much and so big, and it is pulling me to your feet.
Well, Bo, you know, you're obviously a very passionate person. We'd love to invite you here. So send us a mail or something so we have more contact with you, and we'd love you to come and visit us.
Yeah.
You're clearly very passionate, you know. And as you won't allow us to see you on the screen, we're all imagining how you could look.
There's no fear for something. It's just the energy that comes through me if I come in contact with this issue.
I'm beginning to get.
I'm born with that. I'm gifted with that. It has nothing to do with me. I'm just born with that, and I was completely unaware. If I have done my first dynamic meditation, my
You know,
whole
Bo,
body
I'm
goes
beginning to
with
get too.
electric shock. And if I done the Kundalini and all this stuff, my whole body gets shaking all the time, and it was so much of fear. And now I'm totally happy because I am what I am.
I'm getting two images. One, you must be looking like a big grizzly bear, or maybe you're looking like one of these big, what do they call them? The big apes, the gorilla or a gorilla. You're either a gorilla or a grizzly bear, I think.
Not of them. Not at all. I give you some hint.
Are you like a little pussycat?
I have produced
What?
the biggest, greatest guitar book in the world. It has 1001 pages with notes and tapes. And I have done this book with a great passion. And if you go in the internet and you look at that, what's the greatest guitar book on what is existing on this planet, then you maybe find something.
Okay, well, I think we're going to have to go soon, but we really like your passionate entry into the meeting.
Yes.
Yes.
You can go to guitarsolo.de and then you see something.
Okay. Well, send us your full name then. At the
Yeah.
moment, we've only got you as Bo, so send us your name and then we can find you on Amazon or something. Yeah.
No, you just go guitarsolo.de and then you will see the one of the speediest guitar player from United States of America has made a recension of that book, and he said he has never come across such a book full of passion and everything inside and blah blah blah.
Well, we can of course agree about the passion. Yeah, we completely agree about the passion. So you don't feel to give us a little treat now and reveal how you look? Ah, here we are, guitar solo. Okay. You look as if you're Japanese in that picture.
No, guitarsolo.e and then you see something from this guitar
Okay.
book.
Okay.
Look at it.
Right.
And then you can see it. If you go now on the internet and you give it in, and then you see it. It is in English and it's in German, and you can even buy something.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And then I sent you the book. If you're interested in the book, I sent you one copy. Are you interested?
Okay, we can swap books. I've just recently got a new book out as well. You clearly, is that you with a Japanese look?
No.
Are you the Japanese lady?
No.
No. Okay.
No, I sent you, I mean it. I sent you a book.
Okay.
And for example, I have written spiritual books. I have made one book. It's 30 years ago. It's called The Drama of Enlightenment. The Drama of Enlightenment. And the undertitle is the danger for the soul and for meditation and everything. That's what I have written the book, but it was
You better send a copy of that one as well, and I'll send you my most recent book.
What?
We'll swap books. I've got lots of books too.
Yes, of course. I know that if you do 30 books, what a lot of work is done. I mean, you have to make this printing, and you have to go to the cover, and you have to go to the galleries and the pictures, and then you put it away, and there comes another idea, and another idea, and another idea, and another idea,
Right.
and another idea.
Well, you know
this kind of stuff. It's absolutely not foreign for me.
Okay. Well, we have our own publishing company here, so you might like to come and be involved in that.
Yes, I have also a book company. I have also a book company.
Okay, I think we'll have to go now, but it's been lovely talking to you. And,
yeah, wonderful.
And it's wonderful that you're going to give us this donation. That's very kind. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Send me your
And
address where I can send it, to PayPal or where you want the money.
Well, if you send us an email address, we'll reply to you.
You will reply to me.
Yes, yes, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, also very thank you for your much and namaste to you and I bow to you and have fun this evening.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Okay, well. Would you like to come and have a talk? Yeah, so we have a quiet interlude, I think. It's a little bit dramatic. You speak German, I think, yeah? Yes. Yeah, it's okay. Hello.
Ich freue mich, diese Gelegenheit ergriffen zu haben, dass ich dich persönlich...
Can you keep it down? Tell him in about 10 minutes or so. Yeah. Somebody else is...
Hier bin ich Übersetzer.
Ja, okay. Also ich freue mich, dass ich dich persönlich kennenlernen darf.
I'm happy that I can meet you personally.
Ja, also ich habe schon viel erlebt in meinem Leben. Ich bin auch schon recht lange auf dem spirituellen Weg unterwegs und trotzdem komme ich so schwer aus dem Leid und aus den Schwierigkeiten raus und oft verzage ich dabei. Ich frage mich, was mache ich falsch?
So I experienced a lot in my life, and since a long time I'm on the spiritual path, but still often it's difficult for me to come out of the difficulties. And I'm wondering, was hast du gesagt, was mache ich falsch in meinem Leben?
Was mache ich falsch?
Yeah, what do I do wrong in my life that this is like it?
But when you say difficulties, you mean like in everyday things happening, you mean?
Also wenn du von Schwierigkeiten sprichst, meinst du da so Dinge, die im Alltag so geschehen, oder?
Auch im Alltag, aber allgemein. Also ich spüre, dass ich etwas vorhabe in diesem Leben, dass meine Seele für etwas hier ist, aber ich habe das noch nicht erreicht. Und das ist in diesem spirituellen Bereich. Und ich weiß nicht, wie ich das beschleunigen kann oder anderes tun kann.
Yes, but also generally. So I can feel that in this life, my soul wants something, or myself wants something, but I can't really accomplish it or reach it. And how I can do it.
Also ich stecke oft immer noch in finanzielle Schwierigkeiten.
Often I have financial difficulties.
Und ich handle viel, ich mache viel und trotzdem falle ich immer im Gleichen rein, immer in gleiche Schwierigkeiten.
I do a lot, I act a lot, but often I still fall into the same difficulties.
Und dann verzagt meine Psyche und dann ist das Loch noch tiefer.
And then my psychic is sort of verzagen. What? Yeah, hesitating or giving up, and then it gets even worse.
And so you say you've been doing this spiritual work for many years, yeah?
Du sagst ja, dass du seit vielen Jahren schon spirituelle Arbeit machst.
And have you worked with a teacher?
Und hast du schon mal mit einem Lehrer gearbeitet?
Has there been somebody who gave guidance?
Gab es da jemanden, der dich lenken oder führen konnte?
Ab und zu.
Sometimes.
Nur ab und zu.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Because probably, if you're so much sincere, you sound very sincere.
Also du hörst dich ja sehr ernsthaft an. Und wenn du so ernst bist,
and if it's not really working, you feel like something is not working or you can't reach something, you somehow feel there's somewhere still to come, but you're not coming there.
Ja, wenn du so ernsthaft dabei bist, aber es nicht wirklich funktioniert, wenn du das Gefühl hast, du möchtest irgendwo hinkommen, aber du schaffst es da nicht hin.
then I would say without doubt that you're ready for some kind of teacher who is showing or pointing or suggesting or reminding or being a mirror or
Dann würde
something.
ich sagen, dann bist du an der Stelle, wo du einen Lehrer brauchst, der dir etwas zeigen kann oder dich irgendwie den Weg weisen kann oder dir ein Spiegel sein kann.
Because what you're saying about what you said in the beginning would suggest that although you would like to be kind of free and living in peace and living in a kind of surrender to existence,
Also was du am Anfang ja gesagt hast, obwohl du gerne in Freiheit leben möchtest, in innerem Frieden und dich der Existenz hingeben möchtest,
actually you're not.
geschieht das nicht wirklich.
And that means that you're still basically attached to your mind and whatever is in there.
Und das bedeutet, dass du immer noch an deinem Verstand und was auch immer da drin ist, angehaftet bist.
And if there are certain situations repeating themselves, you seem to suggest that particularly with money you have some kind of repeating issues.
Und wenn da gewisse Situationen immer wieder in deinem Leben auftauchen, so wie du zum Beispiel sagst, das mit dem Geld ist,
That suggests that in your mind you have certain structures which keep creating the same situations.
das bedeutet ja, dass in deinem Verstand bestimmte Strukturen sind, die immer wieder dieselben Situationen hervorrufen.
And so, the solution is to actually move deeper inside.
Und die Lösung ist, weiter nach innen sich zu bewegen.
And when you move deeper inside and you're not anymore identified with the mind,
Und wenn du dich tiefer nach innen bewegst und nicht mehr mit dem Verstand identifiziert bist,
there's an enormous trust in existence.
dann gibt es ein ganz großes Vertrauen in die Existenz.
And this lady now on the internet, she is clearly living in that trust. That was a woman, wasn't it? It was a man.
It sounded like a man.
No, it was a man. I thought it was a woman. Oh, okay. Anyway,
Also
Bo.
Der Mann im Internet, der hörte sich ja so an, als ob er in diesem Vertrauen lebt.
So I can feel from the way he was talking, if it's a he, I thought she was a she, but anyway, it's a he.
In der Art und Weise, wie er gesprochen hat.
So somehow she's clearly fallen very deep inside.
Ist ja eindeutig sehr tief nach innen gefallen.
And I don't know anything about you, so I'm not making a judgment, but if you're still getting your own feeling that you're not really home, you're not living at home.
Also ich kann über dich nichts sagen, weil ich kenne dich ja nicht sehr gut, aber wenn du selber das Gefühl hast, du bist im Inneren nicht wirklich zu Hause,
then that means you're not really living unattached to your mind. Your mind is you're still basically living in your mind.
dann bedeutet das, dass du nicht unangehaftet an deinen Verstand lebst, sondern dass du die meiste Zeit aus deinem Verstand heraus lebst.
So maybe now it's a more spiritual mind.
Vielleicht ist es ja jetzt ein eher spiritueller Verstand.
Maybe you're able to be more quiet.
Vielleicht bist du heute in der Lage, stiller zu sein.
So, that's all good, It's much nicer to have a quiet mind, and this is the benefit of meditation, for example.
Und das ist ja gut. Also es ist auf jeden Fall besser, einen stillen Verstand zu haben. Und das ist ja der Nutzen, den man aus der Meditation ziehen kann.
So there's something that can happen where our attachment to all the thoughts, the whole box of tricks, gets really cut.
Aber es gibt etwas, wo es geschehen kann, dass die Anhaftung an unseren Verstand mit dieser Kiste, mit unseren ganzen Tricks einfach abgeschnitten wird, durchgeschnitten wird.
And then we kind of fall deeply inside us.
Und dann fallen wir tief in uns hinein.
And then we live in a deep peace and a deep trust, and we get constant guidance from the divine.
Und dann leben wir in einem tiefen Vertrauen, in einem tiefen Frieden und bekommen immer die Führung vom Göttlichen, die göttliche Führung.
And probably you're ready for this.
Und da bist du wahrscheinlich bereit für.
Ich glaube, ich bin immer bereiter.
I think I'm always a bit more available for this.
Yeah.
Also die letzten Monate in meinem Leben haben mir wieder gezeigt, wenn ich an diesen Verstand verhafte, dann leide ich und kommt nichts Gutes raus.
The last months in my life showed me if I stay attached to my mind, I'm suffering and nothing good can happen.
Right.
Aber wenn ich mich, ich sag Gott besinne und dieses ängstliches Kind, dieses ängstliches Mädchen Gott übergebe, dann kann ich nicht verloren gehen.
But when I focus on God and surrender this little fearful girl to God, then nothing can happen in life. Nothing.
Everything's all right. Yeah. So I
Alles
was
ist gut
also
dann.
suggesting now with this coronavirus, it's very easy to get in our minds about it, get into fear about it. And if we do that, we get caught up on the outside, and everybody on the outside is also going into their own fears about it. And the alternative is to come back inside. Yeah?
Also jetzt mit diesem Coronavirus, da können wir natürlich sehr in unsere Angst verfallen und alle anderen verfallen auch in Angst. Aber wir können auch einfach tief nach innen fallen.
And somehow the life is always bringing difficulties.
Und das Leben bringt immer Schwierigkeiten mit sich.
Like I was saying at the beginning, now this community suddenly after 15 years, we supported ourselves for 15 years, and now suddenly the government has taken away our income
Also,
in just one day.
wie ich ja anfangs gesagt habe, die Gemeinschaft, die gibt es seit 15 Jahren und seit 15 Jahren finanzieren wir uns selber und plötzlich hat die Regierung unser ganzes Einkommen quasi weggenommen.
So this is a pretty strong situation.
Und das ist eine ziemlich intensive Situation.
And already, the community has started to do some steps.
Und die Gemeinschaft hat natürlich schon Schritte unternommen.
We don't know the result of the steps.
Also die Ergebnisse kennen wir noch nicht.
So existence is always like that. Always something unexpected is happening. Always new things are happening. Nothing is always the same.
Und die Existenz ist immer so, also immer geschehen irgendwelche neuen Dinge. Nichts bleibt beim Alten.
Ja, ich weiß, ich würde sagen, in meinem Inneren ist etwas so stark verletzt, dass wenn diese Sachen geschehen, dann ist es wie ein Erdbeben in mir. Und ich würde es gerne anders haben.
So inside of me there is something so much hurt, then when these things happen, it's like an earthquake in me, and I would like it to be different.
Right.
Und dann schimpfe ich mit mir selber, wieso bist du so vom Gott so weggekommen, wieso bist du so labil, wieso kannst du nicht anders reagieren und einfach nur vertrauen.
And then I'm angry with myself and say to myself, how could you be gone so far away from God, and why can't you trust God?
But so somehow you understand, yeah?
Ja, aber du verstehst ja irgendwie.
So, for example, you have to remember, yeah?
Du musst dich daran erinnern.
Because you actually know, but you keep forgetting.
Du weißt es, aber du vergisst es immer wieder.
So something happens in your daily life, and then you completely forget about God.
Irgendetwas geschieht in deinem Alltag und dann vergisst du plötzlich Gott.
You get caught up in something, some
Du verwickelst dich
situation,
irgendwo in irgendeine Situation
and you lose all trust.
und dann verlierst du das Vertrauen.
And then the mind is actively trying to make a solution.
Und dann versucht der Verstand ganz aktiv irgendeine Lösung herbeizudenken.
Ja,
That doesn't work
Und das
so well.
funktioniert nicht.
nicht mehr.
Not anymore.
Right.
Deswegen war mir wichtig, auch dich kennenlernen, und ich bin erst vor Wochen auf die Seite gekommen und über dich habe ich schon was gelesen oder gehört, aber
Therefore it was important for me to meet you. Only some weeks ago I came on your side. I heard about you before.
Right.
aber für etwas wollte meine Seele hier sein heute Abend.
But for some reason my soul wanted to be here tonight.
Und ja, ich bin noch auf der Suche.
And I'm searching.
So we have a book, it's called Pointless Joy of Freedom.
Wir haben
But
ein
it's
Buch,
in English.
das heißt grundlos glücklich.
What?
Grundlos glücklich. I mean, we have it in German also.
Oh, we have it in German, do we? Ah, we do. Yeah, we have. We have a book. I've forgotten. It's in German too. Yeah, yeah. You should get that
Super.
book.
Das Buch solltest du dir kaufen.
We have
Grundlos
another
glücklich.
book which is not in German, but
Wir haben ein anderes Buch, das gibt es nicht auf Deutsch, aber das gibt es auch.
there's also a nice book. It's called whatever it's called in German.
Remarkable People.
Yeah.
Meetings. Das ist grundlos
No,
glücklich.
right.
Grundlos glücklich. Die Freiheit des Seins.
This is a pretty nice book.
Das ist
So
ein sehr schönes
maybe you
Buch.
look in this book, and this is a book where I've chosen 50 spiritual heroes,
Das ist,
my
ein,
spiritual heroes.
das ist ein Buch, wo ich 36 spirituelle Helden ausgewählt habe.
So very old ones like Buddha or Jesus,
Sehr alte, also wie Buddha und Jesus.
and some more recent ones like Osho or like Gurdjieff, Ramana Maharshi.
Aber auch eher so zeitgenössische wie Osho, Gurdjieff, Ramana Maharshi.
And then some present ones like Ram Dass or Adyashanti or Eckhart Tolle. Yeah.
Dann noch welche, die jetzt noch da sind, wie Eckhart Tolle, Ram Dass,
So
Deepak
50
Chopra.
heroes, and then from each of them I selected some quotation.
Also es sind 30 von diesen Helden und von jedem habe ich so ein Zitat herausgesucht.
And then over 2 or 3 years, in this meeting, I would respond to this quotation.
Und über 2 oder 3 Jahre habe ich in den Satsangs halt immer so, bin ich in Resonanz gegangen mit diesen Zitaten.
And so this book, actually I've got a copy here, I think. No, I don't have it. Okay, somebody will have to fire Raj, it's not here. It's not here. It's not here. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They're hopeless, really. But we have to fire Raj. It's okay. Don't get upset. So anyway, so this book is rather good because it covers things like the Buddha. In the beginning of the book, the Buddha is saying that you have to persevere, you have to keep going.
Am Anfang des Buchs sagt der Buddha, du musst immer weitergehen.
And at the end of the book, I can't remember, but anyway, at the end of the book, it's talking about when you really become free.
Also du musst beharrlich sein. Und am Ende des Buchs, da geht es darum, wie man wirklich frei wird.
So it goes through the spiritual journey.
Es geht quasi durch die spirituelle Reise.
Yeah. And what I would say to you is if when you read this book, you feel a good connection with me,
Sagen würde, ist, wenn du das Buch liest und du hast das Gefühl, du hast eine gute Verbindung mit mir,
then come again,
komm wieder. Ja,
Because what you need most likely is you need the contact with somebody.
also ich glaube, dass du den Kontakt mit jemandem brauchst.
You seem to be very sincere
Also ernsthaft scheinst du ja zu sein
and a bit troubled.
und so ein bisschen sorgenvoll.
Was mir hilft, ich lese jeden Abend von Ananda Maima Zitate.
Every evening I read quotes from Ananda Maima.
Ah, yeah. I was just in her ashram
Ich war gerade in ihrem Ashram.
Oh, nice.
because I was in Rishikesh.
Ich war in Rishikesh.
And going from Rishikesh to Delhi in a taxi, we stopped in Hardwar and we went to her samadhi.
Und als wir von Rishikesh nach Delhi gegangen sind im Taxi, haben wir in Haridwar angehalten und waren bei ihrem Samadhi.
Actually twice, because when we came from Delhi we stopped, and when we went back to Delhi we stopped. So twice we sat in her samadhi. It's a very beautiful samadhi.
Also zweimal auf dem Weg hin und auf dem Weg zurück haben wir in ihrem Samadhi gesessen. Das ist ein sehr schöner Samadhi.
So I mean, this would be an interesting connection we now have,
Das ist eine interessante Verbindung, die wir haben.
because she's not really. I think she's in that book actually. She's in that book.
Sie ist auch in diesem Buch.
So she's kind of a hero, but not a close hero.
Also sie ist auch eine Heldin, aber nicht so eine nahe Heldin.
But even 10 and 20 years ago, I also sat in her samadhi.
Vor 20, 30 Jahren habe ich auch an ihrem Samadhi gesessen.
Yeah. So I have a kind of connection with her, and it's interesting that you have this strong connection with her.
Und ich habe eine Verbindung mit ihr. Interessant, dass du eine starke Verbindung mit ihr hast.
Yeah.
Ja, irgendwie im Herzen. Ich habe sie leider nicht kennenlernen können, aber geistig habe ich das Gefühl, dass ich Verbindung zu ihr habe.
Yes, in my heart. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to meet her, but
Yeah.
in my spirit, I feel a connection to her.
Yeah.
Ich war nicht mal in diesem Leben in Indien.
I
Vielleicht
never
im
have been to
anderen.
India in this life.
She hasn't been?
In this life, not.
Ah, okay. Well, you have to come with me because I'm going to India. I often go to India.
Ja, da musst du mit mir kommen. Ich gehe oft nach Indien.
In fact, I've just come from Rishikesh, and normally I go to the south of India
Also ich komme ja gerade aus Rishikesh und normalerweise gehe ich in den Süden Indiens,
because I'm very much connected to Ramana Maharshi.
weil ich bin dem Ramana Maharshi sehr verbunden.
But this year I was in the south, and I suddenly got a very strong message I should go to the north, to
Aber als ich
Rishikesh.
diesmal im Süden war, habe ich eine starke Botschaft bekommen, dass ich in den Norden nach Rishikesh gehen sollte.
And so I had to buy a new air ticket, and I went to Rishikesh.
Also musste ich neue Flugtickets kaufen und bin nach Rishikesh geflogen.
So now I'm planning in October this year to go back to Rishikesh
Also jetzt plane ich im Oktober dort wieder hinzugehen.
with 10 or 15 people.
So mit 10 oder 15 Leuten.
And we'll stop in Anandamai's Samadhi, of course.
Und wir werden natürlich an dem Samadhi von Anandamayi anhalten.
Wow. Dann wünsche ich mir vom Existenz, dass ich das Geld dafür habe.
Then I wish from existence that I will have the money for it.
Right, right. Well, you definitely will if it's clear for you, you know.
Also wenn das für dich klar ist, dann wirst du das auch bekommen.
Money is fairly easy.
Geld ist ziemlich leicht.
Not for you, but basically it's pretty easy.
Also bei
Das
dir
kann-
vielleicht nicht, aber grundsätzlich ist es eigentlich sehr
Es kann
einfach.
alles leicht sein.
Everything can be easy.
Yeah, yeah, it is because we're totally supported all the time.
Es ist, weil wir die ganze Zeit unterstützt werden.
Like I was saying earlier, we have this quite shocking situation where we lost all our income in just one day.
Also wie ich vorher gesagt habe, wir haben ja diese schockierende Situation, wo wir in einem Tag unser ganzes Einkommen verloren haben.
And this nice man or lady, we don't quite know, well, I don't know which she is, she's already offered us 500 euros.
Und dieser nette Herr, der hat uns 500 € angeboten.
So that's 500 out of 10,000 is 20th, is it? 1/20th. Okay. Anyway, it's a help.
Also das ist ein Zwanzigstel, ist ja schon mal eine Unterstützung.
So if you really like to go to Rishikesh with me in October, you'll be the first one who's going.
Also wenn du wirklich mit mir nach Rishikesh gehen willst im Oktober, dann bist du die Erste, die geht.
Okay.
And it will happen. I'm sure it will happen, you see.
Und es wird geschehen, da bin ich mir sicher.
Wenn es in Ferien ist, dann kann ich mitkommen.
If it's in the holidays, I can come.
Weil ich arbeite mit Kindern.
You have children?
Because I work with children.
Ich arbeite
Oh,
mit
you work
Kindern.
with children. She works with children?
She works with children.
Ah, okay. But now you don't have to work, yeah?
Aber jetzt musst du nicht arbeiten, ne?
At the moment not.
So you can come and spend some time in our community.
Du kannst auch einige Zeit in unserer Gemeinschaft verbringen.
Ja, ich kann
We have
mitarbeiten.
3 or 4 people here tonight, and they've been here for a week.
Wir haben hier 3, 4 Leute, die sind schon seit einer Woche hier als
Gerne.
Helfer.
You could come for a week and just
Ja.
be here,
Du kannst eine Woche als Helferin kommen und einfach hier
Gerne.
sein.
because now you don't have to work.
Weil jetzt musst du ja nicht arbeiten.
So for you, this virus has been very helpful, you see.
Für dich ist dieser Virus sehr hilfreich.
For us, it's
Yes.
right now not so helpful.
Für uns ist es nicht so hilfreich.
And you work for the government, so they will keep paying you, I think.
Und du arbeitest ja für die Regierung, also wirst du ja dein Geld weiterbekommen.
I hope so.
I think so. I think they will. They will, for sure. Yeah. So there you are. You see, look how many good things are happening. The government has stopped your job. They'll carry on paying you. You can come and stay in Open Sky House. And in October, you're going to Rishikesh. And then on the way, and on the way, you're going to see Ananda Ma in her samadhi.
Yes.
Would you like to see a picture? Have you seen a picture of her samadhi?
Hast du ein Foto von ihrem Samadhi gesehen?
I can show you. I have one right here.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Unfortunately, I have rather a lot of pictures here, so I'm not sure I can find it. Ah, here we are, right here. This is the outside. This is the outside.
Das ist das von außen.
They built a kind of big tower.
Die haben so einen großen Turm darüber gebaut.
Put it on camera. This is the outside of Anandamayi Ma's Samadhi in Hardwar, close to Rishikesh, 1 hour from Rishikesh. And I was a naughty boy, so I took a picture inside also. Here's a nice picture of her as well.
Yes.
Here's the picture of her. This is not. Was even more beautiful when she was younger, and even when she was old, she was pretty beautiful. But now, this is sort of maybe 40 or something.
Das ist ein Foto von ihr. Als sie jünger war, war sie noch hübscher, aber
So now I've got
war sie noch sehr hübsch.
got a picture inside, I think. Oh, maybe I haven't. I don't know. I was there twice, so maybe I have a picture there. Ah. So this is inside her samadhi. I shouldn't have taken this. So this is her samadhi in there. She's buried underneath there. And then they've got a statue of her.
Very nice.
And they put fresh flowers every day.
Yes.
So this is inside her samadhi.
It's dark. You need to touch, it's dark.
Anyway, okay, so, well.
Ja, ich habe nur eine Frage noch. Was empfiehlst du mir? Du sagtest, ich bräuchte eine spirituelle Lehrer, aber ich lebe auf dem Land allein. Was empfiehlst du mir? Was soll ich machen? In welche Richtung?
So what are you recommending to me? You say I need a spiritual teacher, but I'm living in the countryside on my own. So what would you recommend?
Well, I would start with the book, you know. Start with this book of mine, because if this book touches you, and if you then feel a connection with John David, you could choose me as your teacher.
Also ich würde sagen, fang mal mit dem Buch an. Wenn dich das Buch berührt und du eine Verbindung zu John David fühlst, dann könnte ich dein Lehrer sein.
But this is going to just happen inside you.
Aber das wird in dir also deutlich werden.
So we had a nice beginning tonight, and then you'll see when you read this book, you'll feel some connection with me, or not, maybe not.
Also wir haben ja heute Abend einen schönen Anfang gemacht und wenn du dieses Buch liest, dann wirst du vielleicht eine Verbindung mit mir spüren oder auch nicht.
I'm not as beautiful as Anandamayi Ma, of course.
Ich bin natürlich nicht so hübsch wie die Anandamayi Ma.
Anyway, so then my suggestion then is now you're on holiday from school.
Und mein Rat wäre für dich, jetzt hast du ja
Come
quasi
and stay for a
Ferien
week.
von der
Just come
Schule.
and stay here for a week.
Also komm hier und bleib hier einfach eine Woche.
And then we have these meetings on Monday and Friday, and we have a meeting on Wednesday. We have 3 meetings with me. We have meditations during the day.
Also wir haben 3 Treffen mit mir in der Woche. Wir haben jeden Tag Meditation.
And then if you still feel to continue, I have a group of people that meets me every 3 months.
Und wenn du dann weitermachen möchtest, also ich habe eine Gruppe, die trifft sich alle 3 Monate.
It's about 20 people.
Da sind ungefähr 20 Leute
So
drin.
last weekend we had a meeting here with 20 people
Letztes
for 2 days.
Wochenende hatten wir 2 Tage hier ein Treffen mit den Leuten, für 2 Tage lang.
And we have this meeting roughly every 3 months.
Und diese Treffen, die gibt es ungefähr alle 3 Monate.
So you could join this group and then you become part of the group and you have contact also with the other people.
Und du könntest ein Teil der Gruppe werden und dann hast du auch Kontakt zu den anderen Leuten.
So these 2 blonde ladies are part of this group.
Diese beiden blonden Damen sind Teil der Gruppe.
What?
Thank you for blonde.
Well, you know, as Bo said, you know, I'm flattering everybody, smiling at everybody, you know. But in this way, you would just naturally become involved, you know.
Aber auf diese Art und Weise würdest du ganz natürlich näher kommen.
Just step by step, you know.
Schritt für Schritt.
Yes. Thank you very much. I'm touched.
Okay, good. And what's your name?
Victoria.
Victoria. Ah. Also Victoria.
Oh, hello. 2 Victorias. Sieg.
Right. Nice, very nice, yeah. So there was some impulse today to come here, yeah?
Da gab es heute so einen Impuls von dir, hier hinzukommen.
So I've been sitting here for 15 years,
Ich sitze hier seit 15 Jahren,
but today is your day.
aber heute ist dein Tag.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. So I think you'll have to tell them that tomorrow morning at 11. Yeah. Okay, thank you. So guys in Tripelia, tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock, your time. Tonight got a bit out of control. Okay, is that off?